Hi everyone. So it's Alexandra from Urban Yoga Lab and Oxygen, and today it's an interview. It's something like a podcast, actually, with one of our most favorite employee well-being experts in our Urban Yoga Lab family. She is a nutritionist, a biohacker, and a fantastic founder, and her name is Dorota Cloke. Dorota, thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Oh, hey, Alexandra. My pleasure, my absolute pleasure. You know me, I love talking about wellness and biohacking. To be able to spread the message further, it's just an absolute pleasure. So thank you.
Amazing. So today, the topic, for those of you who might be wondering, it's all about biohacking in the workplace, right? So we're going to talk about the Biohacker's Toolkit, and we're going to explore ways of enhancing employee well-being and performance. So I know that many of our clients, they do want to avoid the traditional wellness programs that actually fail to make a meaningful impact. And they're wondering, right, what alternatives do I have? And the truth is that we are really thrilled working with amazing experts like Dorota, because we can offer this kind of alternative. So a few words about Dorota Cloke. She is a qualified nutritionist and a member of Royal Society for Public Health. She's a weight management specialist and a wellness coach. She has also had significant experience in the restaurant industry, and she has worked with some of London and New York's high-end restaurants. However, at some point in her life, similar to my story, she had a different calling, and she said yes. So she quit her corporate job to pursue her dream in wellness. The power of wellness is close to her heart, not only because of her upbringing, but also following an 11-year-long battle with leukemia that her late father had to face. In 2008, when her father has first diagnosed, her life changed forever. First, it was the acceptance of the new reality. Second, it was the change of the attitude towards life in general. And this long journey involved a series of medical treatments, over 450 courses of chemotherapy across the length of the disease, and lastly, a sadly unsuccessful bone marrow transplant. Over the last decades, she supported her dad by changing his diet to a plant-based diet, with lots of fresh, squeezed vegetable juices and lots of supplements. And she managed, along with her father, to shift his lifestyle entirely with health as the main focus. So today, her purpose is to educate others on healthy lifestyle techniques to stay at optimal performance and age gracefully. Her focus is to raise awareness about medicinal properties of healthy eating, to engage and educate people about superpowers of plants, and to help busy professionals plan their weekly menus and encourage home cooking from scratch. So, she also, as I said before, she's the founder of the global FAST community. I'm so glad to have her joining us here today to share some of her best tips, practices, and hacks that can actually transform your life. Dorota, thank you so much again for joining, today, and thank you for accepting my invitation to be interviewed. I'm so much passionate about nutrition, employee well-being, and mental health. And today, our topic will be all around nutrition, right? But first of all, would you like to share a little bit about why are you so passionate about this topic? And just a little bit about your background, if there was something I didn't mention and you would like to highlight,
Sure, thank you. Thank you for the nice intro as well. Actually, it's a good reminder to kind of remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. So my father's journey was a huge sort of influence to, as you said, you know, my mission and my calling is to spread the health awareness, and heal the world. You know, how to people can stay at the optimal performance, age gracefully, as you said, and regardless of the age. We all age, and we cannot change that. That's absolutely normal. But we can expand our health span so we can stay healthier for longer. And that's my mission. That's my mission, to kind of give people those tools. That's how I become a biohacker as well. So biohacking is this mystique word to some, and some people who are not aware of it, they may think, oh, what is this? It sounds very scientific, very technical. Are you like injecting chips in your skin and that kind of thing? So no, it's not that. So biohacking, basically, it's improving your immediate environment and your lifestyle to achieve those goals. So to stay optimal, to expand your health span, and be full of energy and happy. And that is what biohacking is all about. So just to answer your question about my previous background, so yes, I'm a nutritionist now, but previously I worked in the corporate world. I used to manage loads of restaurants in New York and London, but also my final years in the corporate world, where in a contract catering company, where I was heavily involved in tender processes for corporates. So I do understand very well how corporate world operates, how employees in kind of office workspaces, how they eat, how they function, how they work, what sort of timings are for lunch and snacks. And so I do understand that world very well. And what I can say from seeing it firsthand, it requires a lot of improvement. Let's put it that way. So a lot of food that is offered in workplaces, in office work environment, it's not necessarily good for you. So
but sorry, I'm interrupting you. It's also, when it comes to the world of biohacking and nutrition, there's also so much this kind of world of misinformation. So, you know, we see a lot of experts actually suggest specific kind of diets and food protocols. And I know that many employees from companies we are serving, they're actually a little bit frustrated and overwhelmed. And I see that they are wondering how to actually navigate through this world of misinformation by staying focused and optimized.
Yes, 100%. I agree with what you said. Misinformation is the number one word that keeps coming up to me, especially. It's this, we have such easy access to Google, and everything around us is like, it's within hand's reach, but it's overload of information, and a lot of them are also not really good for you. So where I come from, and the biohacking it's actually taking you back to the roots, you know, to how people used to live, the pre-industrial revolution people, our ancestors. So using nature as your tool to charge your battery, pretty much. So exposure to sunlight, grounding, bare feet on the earth, all those things. We tend to take those things for granted, but also don't even think about it, because we want a quick fix with like a pill, or a quick diet, or a miracle solution that it will be like really, really quick fix. But those things don't exist, unfortunately.
Yes, I love what you said, because it's not about a quick fix. And that's what many times, you know, in the world of wellness, because myself, you know, as a corporate well-being expert, I'm focused on this world of wellness in general. I see a lot of employees who actually, you know, try to lose weight too fast by following some unorthodoxical kind of methods and approaches. And I'm like, it's so much better when we decide to follow a better way of living as part of our lifestyle, as
Exactly.
part of having a specific goal, as having an end game in mind, but more
Oh my God.
a journey. So when it comes to biohacking, I know it can help very much when it comes to sleep. And I also know that many employees, they actually struggle with sleeping disorders, including apnea and insomnia. So can you tell us a little bit more about how biohacking can help us to optimize our sleep?
Perfect. Yeah, and it's a really good topic as well. Sleep is such a huge problem in general in our population, but also we tend to overcomplicate things, right? With trying to fix it. So I'm going to give you a few very simple hacks. But actually, going back to what you just said, this should be part of our lifestyle. This is not there is no end game, right? We don't only just do it for 3 days, 5 weeks and expect the results. This should be part of our makeup. Should be part of our daily routine. And this is what's going to make a difference, that actual thinking. So in terms of sleep, and I know this may sound a little bit counterintuitive, what I'm just going to say, but so sleep, but we need to regulate our circadian rhythm, and circadian rhythm is linked to sunlight and daytime and nighttime. And we, as humans, we are programmed. Our hormones are linked to what's happening out in the nature, to the moon, to the sun, and so we need to regulate that. If our system is out of balance, we will struggle to sleep. So what we need to do, first of all, we need to be very disciplined in our routine, sleep hygiene. So we need to go to bed at around the same time each day, if possible. When we wake up, the first thing we do, we should go outside and sun gaze, even though, I mean, we don't have sunshine in this country at this moment, so it's going to be quite difficult. But even if it's overcast, just go out and absorb the daylight, and that will be enough to get all those it's called lux rays. They will land on our skin, and our skin receptors will absorb it into our body, and that will help regulating our melatonin production. And someone will say, well, melatonin is our sleeping hormone, which is correct. But the exposure during the first hour or two from the sunrise, exposure to the sunlight will help us regulate production of melatonin when it's time to go to bed. So that daytime, that morning exposure will make enough melatonin so we can then easily go to sleep when our natural body clock will tell us that it's time to go to sleep. So the morning light exposure, grounding if possible. So go to your garden, if you have a garden, go to the park, local square, common, and ground yourself, bare feet ideally on a grass or on earth, beach, water, anything that's natural. Hug a tree, even for a few minutes. Just go there with a cup of coffee or tea, whatever your morning routine is, and just give yourself those 5 minutes. It doesn't require big commitment, but those two things will drastically change how you sleep at night. So these are the 2 tips. What do you do in the morning? In the evening, stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed. Allow yourself to digest your food, and don't snack before you go to bed, and keep your bedroom as a kind of sleeping sanctuary. So definitely no screens in the bedroom, no TVs, no phones. Unplug yourself from screens at least an hour before going to bed, and kind of focus, pay attention to that, get ready for bed. read a book, journal, whatever your kind of calming thing is, meditate, listen to interesting podcast or whatever it is, but it's to find your perfect tool to kind of calm your nervous system down and then go to bed. So
I love what you said. And I feel like and that's something I say all the time, that I truly believe that each person's journey to well-being, it's personal, right?
Yeah.
And that actually, and I so much can resonate with what you just said, that, for every person, the way it will help them to decompress and unplug, relax and unwind, it's different. It's not the same for every single person. And that's why it's so important to raise awareness about all the possible available options, right? And then I was thinking, sleep is a very important pillar of our well-being, as much as it is, our productivity and performance. And I know many of my clients, they are actually actively exploring new ways of consuming food as a way to boost their productivity and their overall performance. So do you have any tips to share with us when it comes to that?
Yes, of course. Many tips. So yeah, food, obviously. So imagine we sleep well, we wake up energized, and then it's time to fuel our body with food. And going into like a stressful environment, obviously work is stressful, whether however much we like it or enjoy working for our employers. It is a stressful thing, and often people. We work against deadlines, projects, we juggle a lot of things working in a work environment. And to fuel our bodies, people tend to go back to what's convenient, what's easy fix. So I feel like in our culture, in the Western world, people tend to focus on carbohydrates. I'll get this pack of crisps. I'll get a sandwich. I'll get some sandwich with crisps. Apparently, it's a thing in Britain that it's a perfect to go to lunch. But we have to focus on things that actually will keep us productive and focused, right? So we need to fuel our brain so we can stay at sharply focused on a task. And so kind of I want to say, so how to feed our brain? We feed our brain through feeding our microbiome. So those two are so closely linked together and very, very, very much researched, and which is a really great thing. So imagine, all those things that we say, oh, I have a gut feeling, I have butterflies in my stomach. We already knew that there is something going on in our gut that affects our brain. So we've been,
yes.
right? So we've been using
brain. It's like brain. That's how I call it.
Yes, right. So we've been using those analogies for years and years and years, but only recently scientists realized that there is this huge connection between gut and brain, and it's called gut and brain axis. So those the two systems are continuously sending each other signals. So, for example, if your microbiome is not in a good shape, for example, you just had heavily processed food, can of Coke, followed by ice cream or cookies, then your brain will have trouble focusing. You will have a brain fog. You will fall into a food coma. You will feel very heavy and sluggish and like low energy. So that is this connection, right? And then vice versa, brain will have trouble metabolizing and digesting this food because it's too heavy, and it will be the signals that they send between each other, it will be very much disrupted. So we need to forget about the carbohydrates during the day and switch our thinking in choosing our foods that are good for us. So fat, protein, vegetables, and starches in that order. So we need to start, so basically keto diet. And I know keto is very, very trendy word, but actually low carbohydrates, so have a diet focused on healthy fats is the way to go. It will keep you focused during the day. It will help you productive and energized. And then have your carbohydrates in the evening, because actually carbohydrates help production of serotonin, which is our happy hormone, but also it's a precursor to melatonin production. So that will also help you sleep.
Wow.
So
idea.
Yeah, so when we start off a day with fats, and I'm talking about healthy fats, right? So avocados, nuts, fish, salmon, pumpkin seeds, all those things are healthy fats. And then we can build our plate around this sort of formula. So fats, loads of vegetables and protein, because protein has amino acids, which are literally building blocks. So they create energy for us. And then you can have your slice of bread or whatever, the starches should take the smaller size of your plate. And I feel like in the Western world, it's kind of flipped on its head. It's the other way around. People are often like loaded with pasta. Oh, but I had pasta salad. I was like, well, but that's still pasta. So yeah, just remember this formula: fat, protein, vegetables, and starches.
Okay, so that makes sense. So then we know what foods can help us to focus and to improve our productivity. But then when it comes to the timings of eating, right? I know that some people, for example, they are on this kind of intermediate fasting thing where they do not eat in the morning, or they avoid having any kind of meals during the night or before they go to bed. But many employees I talk with every single day, and I have these conversations. They're like, okay, what are the right timings, and what's the right portion as well of food, because
Yeah,
this is something many people wonder as well, So
yeah, perfect.
Respond to that.
So that's a really good question as well. So often it's not what we eat, but how free and when we eat it. That's it's often that what is kind of it's the tipping point. It's like, oh, sometimes people are very good eating healthy and following all those rules, but if they don't eat if they eat it like too close to bedtime or too soon when they wake up, they are not achieving what is called metabolic flexibility. So to go back to the timing, so basically, the timing, we need to allow our bodies to, because our bodies are so amazing. We, as humans, we are designed in a super clever way, and we know we have all the tools inside of us, how to heal, how to get better, but we need to allow ourselves the time. So the intermittent fasting is a really good way of introducing the timing restriction. So focus on an eating window. And it's very personal, right? It's very, very personal to an individual person, to your lifestyle, to whether, you have to commute from far away or you have children to drop off at school. You have to make it your own preferred way. But so that I wouldn't obsess about, there is this 10-8, 12, 12-8, 10, 12, whatever formulas for intermittent fasting. But I would rather focus on how long your eating window is. So don't have it longer than 10 hours per day, for example. And, make those, shift it. Start at 10 in the morning and finish at 8 p.m. Whatever works for you, or make those adjustments each end, but just stick to one block of eating window, and then you can shorten it as you wish as you go along. It depends. So the longer you don't eat, then you basically teach your metabolic system teach your body how to burn fat before burning carbohydrates. Because as humans, our preferred source of energy is glycogen, which is carbohydrate. even though fat, as in a calorific value, has more calories, so it's more it gives us more energy. But somehow, the way we were designed, we prefer carbohydrates. So, honoring the eating windows and intermittent fasting, we teach our bodies to switch to burning fat. Because when you can also go and do extended fasting. So that's what one of my businesses communities as well. We have this global fast community where when we fast for 3 days, and we do it for in the name of health. So when you fast for an extended period of time, you are completely depleted from the glycogen stores, and you start producing ketones. So that's your keto diet without feeding yourself. And the ketones are this pure energy. It feeds our brain, gives us this internal energy, and it's fascinating. But then, even when we come out of the fast, when we eat, we have this flexibility in our metabolism, and we can actually burn fat over burning carbohydrates.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's incredible what you just said, because I mean, it's all about the window, right? And this is not, it's a subjective thing. Some people, they might want to, make this window last for 9 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours, and the specific time that works best for them, right? So, for example, I see for myself, I love intermittent fasting, I love ketogenic diet. And these are things we have in common, by the way. So I know, for example, that I don't like having breakfast, right? So this is my personal kind of window, starting from the previous night up to lunchtime next day. And that can actually help me to feel energized and feel productive and really focus throughout the day, which actually it helps. But then another thing I get to hear all the time as a question is like, when we have a very long, intense, busy day at work, right? And then we go back home. How do we unwind? How do we unplug? Because sometimes it can be really, really difficult. What do you recommend?
Well, people, I totally get it. It's hard to kind of get back into the calming mode, how to unwind. And I feel like because it's easy to, again, on the way back home, it's easy to reach for that candy, like a sugary thing, slice of cake, brownie, on the way home, on the way back home, glass of wine. But it's really good to kind of ease yourself into the world after work. So and I'm not saying glass of wine is a bad thing. Obviously we all need it from time to time, but it's the beauty about having this wellness lifestyle is the majority of things that you do. So I like the rule 80-20. So 80% of the time you eat healthy, you exercise, you look after yourself, but then the 20% of time you do have pizza and wine for dinner, and that's fine. You don't have to beat yourself up for it. But to unwind, again, drink lots of water, hydrate, make sure after a busy day of work, remember about hydration, because hydration, drinking water, and especially actually with added electrolytes, it keeps us hydrated. Because sometimes plain water doesn't hydrate us enough, because the stress causes dehydration. So remembering about drinking water, which will support our liver detox. So we need to remember to drink that. And I would probably say, and I'll give you kind of, like a biohacking tip as well. So when you have your afternoon tea or coffee, I often like to mix it with MCT oil. And MCT oil is medium chain triglyceride, and it's an oil derived from coconut oil. and it's basically a ketone. So it helps us with energy. So often when we feel this sluggishness around 3 p.m., I like to have MCT oil with my coffee because it will give me an instant boost of energy, but also it will curb my cravings, and I will be able to stay away from the temptations in the office, right? Like, you have a plate of cookies, biscuits, this and that, and that is, that's what sends you to the food coma later on. So
Yeah.
MCT oil, it's a really, really good tool to have.
I love that. I loved what you said about the specific oil. Actually, I've never heard this before. So
Okay, I'll send you details so you can share with in your links as well.
Yeah, I'd love that. Yes, absolutely, with our network. And then speaking of temptations, right? Because that's another big chapter when it comes to our daily habits, right? So many of us, we get so easily tempted to indulge in, some wine every now and then. And as you said, there's nothing wrong with that as long as it doesn't become, as it doesn't become an addiction even, or as long as it doesn't become our go-to way and place to decompress or relax. So speaking of temptations then, how would you go when it comes to that, right? How would you recommend, what would you recommend someone to do when it comes to this topic? When there is a temptation, is there anything we can do, like a coping mechanism against this kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. So it's a good question before a long weekend as well. So I'm sure there will be lots of people overindulging and celebrating May. Not very sunny weather. So we need to support our liver, right? Liver is one of the busiest organs in our body, and liver helps us detoxification from everything, from environmental pollution, from toxins in the office environment as well, from the foods that we eat, from the wine that we drink, and liver, even hormones. Hormones are being flushed out through liver as well. So we need to support that organ as much as we can. So hydration, as I mentioned earlier, definitely. But what I often use in my, I do it. I have that in my supplement drawer. So I always use activated charcoal with any alcoholic drink, because that will help me remove that from my system. So when I go out and have a glass of wine or a drink, I always take activated charcoal with me. So activated charcoal is, again, it's made from coconut shells. So it's very important to pay attention to the label and ingredients. It has to be organic coconut shells, because there are loads of products out there that they kind of, they are not authentic. So we need to be careful what we are taking. So activated charcoal acts as a binder. So it's almost like a magnet. So you take it through it's in a form of tablet. You can buy it in a powder, but it's very messy. So when we take it with a glass of wine, it will basically attract all the toxins going through your system, and you will flush it out. You will excrete it, and it will help the detoxification process. It will be faster. So activated charcoal is very important. I often take digestive enzymes as well especially when I go out to a restaurant for a meal, because most of the restaurants, they don't use pure clean products. One of the ingredients to kind of bear in mind and kind of try to eliminate from your diet as possible are vegetable oils. All the seed oils are really highly inflammatory, and try to remove them from your diet entirely. But restaurants tend to use seed oils because they are cheaper.
Wow. That was really, really helpful. And then I'm thinking, about hybrid working. And this is a conversation I have, with partners and also friends. I know that many of my friends, many of the employees who are serving here in Urban Yoga Lab, they get encouraged by their employers to go back to the office to work.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong about it, right? It can also help with team bonding and
Yeah.
feeling, that sense of community among employees at work. But when it comes to that, what are the key things companies should consider implementing to improve employees' well-being?
That's a really good question. I feel like it's a struggle to bring people back into the office, because it's like, why would I go to the office if I'm happy in my home? But you're right. Yeah, we are social creatures. We need social contact, and we work better in a collaborative environment as humans anyway. So it's good to go back to the office. But what as an employer, it's really important to create this atmosphere of kind of try to eliminate stressful environment out of the equation as much as possible. And that can be done by, introducing ergonomic furniture. So like comfortable chairs, standing desks, because we can't be sitting, behind our desk for 8 hours straight. That's just simply not good for us. It's as bad or even worse as smoking, sitting all day. So people, like employers, should look into introducing like flexible sort of working spaces. The blue light from screens as well. So we need to introduce screen protectors or blue light blocking glasses available for every employee. So when you look at the screen for too long, just put the glasses on, and that will help you to protect from the blue light. And blue light also interferes with hormones and melatonin production. That's why people are so like they have trouble sleeping, because they've been staring at the screen for way too long, and then it's all out of balance. Have lots of plants around your desk, and that creates the oxygen. Have like essential oils available, so it kind of calms you down or gives you energy, things like that. Or like have the vaporizers on your desk. So little things like that, they will make huge difference. And also try to organize your walking meetings, or go outside, go around the block, go back and forth across the river, back and forth over the bridge, wherever you're located, right? Because we think better, we allow oxygen flowing better when we're walking, when we're moving. So that kind of thing, to make it more, make the office environment more pleasant to work with.
I love what you said, and it's about the small things.
Mm-hmm.
All those things together, they can make such a big difference, right?
Yeah.
And then my last question is about fasting, because I know that you are a big advocate when it comes to the healthy impact that fasting can have on our overall system. So when it comes to fasting, right, why do you feel like fasting is, and why do you think fasting is good for optimal performance and expanding health span?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up, because it's one of my favorite subjects, fasting. It is great. Well, all the things that I mentioned earlier, but basically we are allowing just imagine our ancestors, right? We are still programmed in the same way as our ancestors did. So how we respond to stress, fight or flight, how our hormones operate, it's still exactly the same as it was tens and thousands of years ago. We are not, as humans, we are not equipped to thrive in the world we live in now. So, the constant snacking, constant eating, the toxic environment, polluted air, all, sedentary lifestyle, being in the cube, in the house, like not being exposed to nature, all those things, they really affect our performance. So fasting is one of the tools we can really introduce in our lifestyle that will allow our bodies to reset. So fasting allows us to produce the ketones, so we are being very productive, focused, and alert. Fasting also helps us to go through, I love this process, it's called autophagy. So autophagy in Latin means self-eating. So when we hit, I think it's like between 18 to 24 hours of not eating food, our body switches to autophagy. And this is when our old cells are eating itself, basically. So any sort of unused protein cells, cells that were dealing with some sort of inflammation in our body, they're being stored away in the shelf somewhere in our body, but they are still within our organism. And the more we have of that surplus, imagine like a rubbish mountain, right? Just piling up. And if that's not being excreted, then that can cause chronic diseases, cancer, and all sorts of problems in our body. So autophagy helps us to cleanse our bodies on the cellular level, which is like really, really important to me, is because that gives me, each time I fast, it gives me satisfaction of knowing like, hey, I will probably live a little bit longer thanks to this fast. What else? Yeah, what else fasting? Fast helps us generate new stem cells, helps us produce new neurotransmitters in the brain, helps us to reverse diabetes in some cases as well. So there's so much research, which I love, and it comes out every day as well. Like, I think there's a concrete evidence from scientific world that fasting is beneficial for our health.
Oh, wow.
So
I feel like now I have so many more good reasons to be an advocate like you when it comes to fasting. I love intermittent fasting, but I know that you also you suggest fasting from time to time for a longer period of time, and I've never tried that, so I'd love to be part of your community.
Definitely join us. We're doing our next one on 11th of June, just before summer. So
that's great. And for those who will watch this interview later on, say again, which are the dates that you have planned this already?
11th of June.
11th of June. Amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to include Dorota's social media links in the description below. And we're going to include also the link where you can read a little bit about her bio, the link of our LinkedIn, so you can go and connect and ask any questions you might have. But at this point, I just want to say, Dorota, thank you so much for today. And I've learned so much. I know you for such a long time, but every single time we have a conversation, I'm learning things I've never thought, existed before. It's just because of conversations, and I see you as a thought leader in this industry of employee well-being and mental health. We have run some amazing employee well-being programs for locums before. And I know that you have worked for many brands, so many of our clients who might be curious, who might want to find out more about your amazing programs, I want to say that please feel free to reach out. We will include in the comment section an email address. Feel free to email us if you want to find out more. And also, I will also include the link of the event that we've been together last January. It was a panel discussion about the future of work. And we had Dorota talking about biohacking at the workplace, and not only, so many other topics. So I'm going to include this link in the comments below if you want to find out more. And our next event we organize is going to be in June, and it's going to be about women empowerment. So stay tuned.
Amazing.
Thank you for today, Dorota. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I feel like we can go on and on and on for another, day. But it was so nice to talk to you. And yes, I hope this will resonate with some of your clients as well.
I'm pretty sure. And I got inspired again. Every single time we get to talk and discuss about those topics, I'm getting so much inspired by you. So
brilliant.
Yeah, so thank you for being part of our network, of our Urban Yoga Lives community, and we really, our entire team really appreciates you, and our clients too. So yeah.
Oh, and likewise, thank you so much for this.
Super. So for the rest of you guys, stay tuned because we're gonna have another interview. It's gonna be the week after the next one, which is gonna be with Dr. Clara Sicker, who is a neuroscientist, and we're gonna talk about sustainable employee well-being and why it matters. Thank you for watching, and see you on our next episode. Bye.
Yay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for
Bye.
joining.